What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for November 1st, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a feel-good Friday edition of the podcast. Hopefully you are recovering nicely from your candy hangovers. And I gotta say, man, my kids made out like champs. Like, we went with a group from the neighborhood, and it was awesome. I drug a cooler full of beer, Gatorade, water, everything. Probably about 20, 25 of us. It was a lot of fun, but man, I've never seen it where the kids had to like switch out their bags. It was almost like a pit stop for a NASCAR race where I was just like, all right, dump, go, and like, it's insane. So we will be eating candy for weeks to come here in my house, but good time was had by all. So hopefully everybody out there had a good time and was safe. It was actually not quite as warm as I thought it was going to be, which was nice. But man, what a beautiful night for trick-or-treating. I hope you enjoyed it. Happy Friday. Happy November. And before we get into today's episode, some quick housekeeping notes. Be sure to follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mont at Twitter and TikTok. On Instagram at PhillyJimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at Jimbo_Mont. That is where a lot of the stuff is going to be posted. I've been playing around for the Hall of Fame induction spotlight. I've been posting those videos kind of as standalone videos as well on YouTube, and it seems like that has been working out. So I'm going to start playing around in the future with some shorts and things like that. Now that school year, we're a quarter way in, and the kids' sports schedules are slowing down somewhat. Might play around with some different things. So the best way to stay in the loop is to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont, and leave a comment. Let's outsmart the algorithm. But more importantly, spread the word. Because if you're enjoying it, like I said, likely someone else in your circle will. So continue to spread the word, and let's grow this thing. Big things are on the horizon. I can feel it. All right, I've been teasing this for a couple months now. And officially yesterday, with the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame, I've been talking about ever since I interviewed Ken Avalon, the president, a year ago when I still had Back to the Future. I went to the ceremony last year, had a blast, just mingling, talking, telling stories. And if you remember, I spent a lot of time, I sat at the same table with Valerie Still, who is from Jersey, and she is the all-time leading rebounder and scorer in Kentucky basketball history, both men's and women's. So just a fun time. Started volunteering with them, was involved in the candidate inductee selection process this year. But I've been working on kind of some side projects for them, and one of the projects officially went live yesterday. A media release was sent out. I don't know if I can send the media release, but I will post the link to this in the description here. But we've been working on digitizing the entire Hall of Fame collection. So obviously I've told you that up at Spike's Trophies in the Northeast, they have sort of a preview gallery where they have a couple different exhibits. Some things are permanently there all the time, like the big hat that was on William Penn from the 93 World Series just hangs from the ceiling. It's a pretty cool piece. But they constantly are rotating out the exhibits and trying to showcase all of the different memorabilia that they have. There's pictures and everything like that. So I've been working on sort of organize that with the team, as well as sort of, and you guys know I talk about this on this podcast a lot. I like to tell the story. To me, it's more than just, this happened on this day in history. Great, move on. I like to tell the background and the story. So I've been working with a team of people. I've been focusing primarily on the baseball artifacts, and it's a work in progress still, but there's enough now that we went live with it. So you can now access all the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame artifacts and just kind of browse, look. I've been writing things up, telling the story about the players, the teams, the venues, things like that. So very, very excited that has gone live. And as I mentioned, it's going to be an ongoing thing as things come in, as we get more time to sort of document and write up the stuff. There's some things on the horizon where we're going to do spotlights of either certain teams, players, things like that. So a lot of fun. And especially if you enjoy this day in Philly sports history, you're going to love this. Just some of the cool, like I said, just artifacts that there's just no room to display, that they're sitting in storage, but nobody gets to see them. So now anybody can go and see what these artifacts are. That link is in the description, but that is live. That is what I've been working on. And quite honestly, I've been teasing that, I'm trying to do some things for the podcast. That has been taking a lot of my time, but it's well worth it. So please go check that out. The link is in the description. All the sports are on there, and it's constantly growing. So one of the things, and I'll post the link, and it's a website that I created. But a lot of times, and I've had people call me who have seen my business card out and about and say, hey, I was going through my grandmom's attic or my husband's things who passed away, and I found whatever. And those are the things. So if you have anything cool Philly sports history related, get in contact with me, and we can certainly display it and things like that. I had a lady call me and say she had 2 tickets from Game 2 of the 1980 World Series, and was able to go look at them, and she ended up holding on to them because she felt that it would be something cool to give her grandson, but it was just cool to have experiences like that. So that's the project I've been working on for the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame. That link is live, so if you go in the description, it'll be the top little thing there. Click on it, play around with it, have some fun. Leave me some feedback too if you think of collections or whatever you want to see featured and spotlighted. But that is live. The link is in the description. It's been fun doing this, and again, it's just going to continue to grow. So that is officially live as of yesterday, and I'm super, super excited to be a part of it, and the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame organization in general. Trying to really grow and just we all are passionate about the teams, but being able to see, and I think it often gets lost because of how we get frustrated with the teams and things like this. We have an awesome sports history in this Philadelphia region. So now for everybody to be able to see the collection that we have collected over the years is just very gratifying and satisfying. So please go check that out. Have some fun with it today when you're bored at work or having your candy hangover. And be sure to let me know any feedback you have. All right, let's start with yesterday's question of the day. And I asked you, is Shady McCoy a top 5 player in Eagles history? And man, I did not expect the debate on this. Man, I feel like there's 2 groups of people, the ones that love Shady and the ones that aren't fans of him, because there are some people who say, absolutely, he's top 5. There's quite a few that were sort of like me, like, maybe you put Eric Allen in there, maybe Jason Kelce. I had a few people say Fletcher Cox, Randall. But I think you certainly can make the argument that he could be top 5. And everybody, for the most part, that agreed and like Shady said top 10 easily. And then there are people that are like, he's not even a top 5 running back. And I'm like, whoa. But had a lot of fun reading the comments and going back and forth yesterday. Thank you, as always, for participating in the question of the day. There'll be another one here later in the show. Sticking with the Eagles, there were some positive injury updates yesterday. Mekhi Becton was a full participant in practice. Jalen Carter practiced. Still no Dallas Goedert. Still no Darius Slay. It does appear it looked like Elliott Shore-Parks, who was at practice, said if he had to bet, probably no. Obviously, I don't think Goddard's going to play, but probably no Slay. So that means Isaiah Rodgers will get the start again. Landon Dickerson was limited in practice as well, but not a whole lot coming out. Just a lot of positive praise for out of A.J. Brown for Nick Sirianni. Said he talks to him on the phone all the time to go over some ideas for plays and things like that. He had great things to say about Saquon Barkley and just his professionalism and how he makes everyone else better. I really do believe that the whole entire culture, and I think it's always going to be in the back of our minds, PTSD, like But I think we're finally the stank or whatever you want to call it from last year is finally out of that building. They went through some adversity earlier in the season and came out of it now at 5-2. So I think this team is really gelling and coming together at a perfect time, if I have to be honest about it. But that leads to today's question of the day. The line has been pretty steady. Is this a trap game with the Cowboys and then Washington on the horizon? Can the Eagles get caught looking ahead here? The Jaguars are just terrible, but they're a desperate team. They might be fighting for or playing for Doug Peterson's coaching job. So what do you think? Is this a trap game for the Eagles? 267-495-8531. That'll get you into the Back to the Future voice and text line. Get that, anything else Philly sports related off of your chest. But could the Eagles get caught napping here? I don't think so. I really think the way the team has been playing has come together. I don't think this could be a trap game, but this is, if there's ever going to be a trap game, this is the one, looking ahead to Dallas and Washington then. All right. In today's edition of What Would Have Happened If This Was Philadelphia, did you see the videos of the LA fans celebrating the World Series? Guys were setting off fireworks in buses, torching buses, like just ridiculous. Like, stay classy, LA. And again, if this was Philadelphia, though, oh, you guys booed Santa Claus, and oh, you threw snowballs, and blah, blah, blah. It's ridiculous how these other cities do things way worse than what we do here in Philadelphia, and yet we threw snowballs at Santa in 1968. And you know I will always, always have the back of the Philadelphia fan. So stay classy, LA. You are now in the category of the New York fans. Absolute scumbags. And I shouldn't laugh at this, but one of the guys who was trying to set fireworks off, I couldn't tell where he was setting them off, like toward a bus, blew off his hand. So kind of karma coming to bite him in the butt. But man, why would you set fireworks off in a bus? Like, that's just dumb. That's not even like, oh, you're a scumbag family. That's just dumb. Absolutely dumb. But there is some Phillies news. I've read that John Middleton is willing to spend more money. He said, I will go to that third luxury tax level if it's for the right player. Now, is that Juan Soto? I don't know. I think there's more holes than just needing Juan Soto. Not that I would be upset if the Phillies did sign him, but I think you could probably get a couple different players. But it all comes down to John Middleton willing to spend the money. And he's on board if it means winning the championship and it's the right player. So more on that as the Hot Stove League heats up. All right, be sure to check out my boys at the Clashing Conferences Halloween specials this week. The football episode was pretty funny. Baseball episode dropped last night. You might see a familiar face on there. I had some fun, spent a couple minutes with them, just kind of dropping in. Had a little bit of fun, talked about the scumbag New York fans and how they were grabbing at Mookie Betts. So go check that out wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. And then go to Philly Goat. We talked about it a lot last night on our walk for trick-or-treating. Those cooler bags would have come in handy last night, specifically the backpack cooler. They've teamed with Varsity Cooler. Go check it out. Get one of those coolers. Makes a great birthday or Christmas present. Go check that out. And then look at whatever they have shirt-wise. The shirts just are phenomenal. I did a little quick audible because it was too hot to wear my pumpkin suit out yesterday. So I wore the voting shirt with the Philly Fanatic, put my Fanatic headband on, and was a loyal campaigner for the Philly Fanatic for president in 2024. But go to Philly Goat, check out their shirts, get one of the cooler bags, and be sure to use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. All right, Flyers with a big win yesterday, 2-1 over the Blues. I was able to catch the second and third periods of this game, and they look pretty solid. They're still playing with a lot of energy. They're carrying momentum. That's 2 in a row, and they've won 3 of 4 now. Hopefully that means they've kind of turned the corner after that rough start to the season. I did see the stat that all time on Halloween, the Flyers are 10-5-3, make that 11-5-3 now. They return home or stay at home to play the Bruins again tomorrow at home, looking to keep that energy and momentum up. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of that team. There is rumblings that we could see a Joel Embiid appearance tomorrow night at the Wells Fargo Center against Memphis. That have not heard anything yet about Paul George. I guess he's going to work out yesterday. He was supposed to work out yesterday and then again today, but it did see that Joe was participating in some 5-on-5 scrimmages, so that means he could be ready to make his debut. We'll see. We've talked a lot about that, but we'll have hopefully some positive updates on that on tomorrow's show. All right, today, before we get into this day in Philly sports history, I have to wish the Philadelphia Phillies a very, very happy and special birthday. On this day in 1883, the Philadelphia Baseball Club Limited was awarded the rights to replace the team out of Worcester who folded the year before. The group that bought the rights to the Philadelphia Phillies was led by Al Reach, we've talked a lot about him. He was big in the sporting goods in Philadelphia, and John Rogers, who was an attorney. So happy birthday, Phillies. On this day in 1883, the Phillies were born. All right, today, we're going to go back to 1987 and do a little Flyers. On this day in 1987, the Flyers beat the Kings 4-1 at the Spectrum. Murray Craven had a goal and 2 assists. Brian Propp scored his 300th career goal. Dave Brown and rookie Magnus Rupe? I wasn't sure exactly how to pronounce that, but Magnus, what a name for a hockey player. They also scored as the Flyers broke a 5-game winless streak. Brian Propp became the 5th player to score 300 goals with the Flyers. That team in 87 and 88 was coming off of the Stanley Cup run where they took the Oilers to 7 games and Ron Hextall emerged as the star. They ended up finishing second in the Patrick Division that year and lost to the Washington Capitals in the first round of the playoffs after blowing a 3-1 lead and then a 3-0 lead in Game 7. Oof. But on this day, Flyers beat the Kings. Brian Propp scored his 300th career goal, becoming the fifth Flyers player to score 300 goals while with the Flyers. That season did not turn out well for the Flyers, though. Finally today, our 2024 Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame inductee spotlight. And this is a biggie. And we talked about Chase Utley. There's another big Philly that is getting inducted this year who really are like the headliners. But on a normal year where you don't have legends in Phillies, this guy probably would have been the headliner of the induction class. Today, it's Jameer Nelson, for a basketball player. Jameer is a Chester native, played his high school ball at Chester High. He led the Clippers to the 2000 PIAA. I always get that wrong. PIAA state championship. I had the opportunity to see him play in 2000 down at, I guess it was 2001. It was the year after, but I saw him play down at the Leah Core Center while I was at Temple against my alma mater, Coatesville. And he was just a special player then. And it was him and Coatesville's John Allen who played a little bit overseas. And I believe he made a couple rosters in the NBA. But Jameer was just a special, special player in high school. He's a FIBA under-21 gold medalist. And then for college, he stayed local, went to St. Joe's. And I think everybody knows Jameer Nelson when he was at St. Joe's. But he started every game his entire 4 years there, 125 in total. And while at St. Joe's, all he did was dominate. He was the National Freshman of the Year in 2001, led the Hawks to that magical 27-0 regular season, number 1 seed and Elite 8 appearance in 2004. And really, the only thing that stopped them from going to the Final Four was just a ridiculous shot by John Lucas III for Oklahoma State. I remember it's one of the few times during that time period, being a diehard Temple guy, that I was actually pulling for the Hawks that day, but it wasn't meant to be. And that shot by John Lucas III was just outstanding. But that was such a magical run for the St. Joe's Hawks. He was a 3-time A-10 first-team player, first-team All-American in 2004. He was the Player of the Year both nationally and in the A-10 that year. When he left St. Joe's, he's their all-time leader in points and assists. His number 14 is retired down at Hawk Hill. He did get drafted number 20 overall. Ended up having a solid NBA career. Played 15 years. Made the 2009 All-Star Game. Career averages were 11 points per game, 5 assists. Not bad at all. He now serves as the general manager for the Delaware Bluecoats for the Sixers G League. He's in the St. Joe's Athletics Hall of Fame, the Big Five Hall of Fame, the Delaware County Athletes Hall of Fame, and on November 7th, he will take his place among the all-time greats in Philadelphia sports history when he is inducted into the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame, joining some of the greats in Philadelphia sports history. But Jameer Nelson from Chester played at St. Joe's and had a very, very, I would say, above average NBA career, 15 years, averaging 11 points, 5 assists, very solid. But everybody's going to remember Jameer for that wonderful 2004 tournament run that the Hawks went on, and it took a ridiculous shot to stop them from going to the Final Four. But Jameer Nelson is today's 2024 Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame inductee spotlight. On this day in 1987, Brian Propp scored his 300th goal in the Flyers' 4-1 win over the Kings at the Spectrum. Happy birthday, Phillies. You don't look a day over, I guess let's do some quick math there. I don't know. That's a lot of big numbers to do quick on the fly. Let's look at it real quick. And I know a lot of you are home now being like, oh my God, the answer is blah, 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 blah. But happy 141st birthday, Phillies. You don't look a day over 135. But on this day, the Phillies were born. Hopefully we get some positive updates on Joe, and maybe we'll actually see him play a game tomorrow. Maybe. Flyers look to keep it rolling tomorrow at home against the Bruins. John Middleton, he wants to spend it. Let's get him that trophy back, but let's be smart about it too, because this team, I think, needs more than Juan Soto. But that's another question you can get off your chest on the Back to the Future voice and text line. Is this a trap game for the Eagles? I don't think so, but I certainly could see the argument. Let me know your thoughts on that. 267-495-8531. We'll have more on the Eagles as we get closer to game time on Sunday. And weird game time. It's a I think it was like a 5:05 kickoff. And I don't know if because it was flexed, the NFL is trying to play around and do some different things with that and try to keep the games rolling until Sunday Night Football. But I just thought that was an odd time to start a game, and maybe they're just trying to control Sundays completely. Or though maybe, because I'm still seeing 4:05, so maybe it's because of the time change. Who knows? But we'll see what happens. But we'll have you covered for the Eagles game. Be sure to check out the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame archives. Very excited to announce that has gone live. So let me know your thoughts on that, and go have some fun with it because there's a lot of cool stuff in the collection. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for November 1st, 2024. My name is Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Friday, and until next time, happy birthday, Phils.